Ollie, are you trying to tell me something?
When I first met Oliver at the animal shelter, the staff warned me that he was an extremely timid cat. One of the volunteers explained that he rarely approached people and usually kept to himself. Most of the time, he sat quietly in the back of his kennel, simply observing everything around him. There was nothing attention-grabbing about him. He wasn't meowing or trying to get noticed. He just sat there calmly, watching. I gently reached my hand toward him, unsure of how he would react. He looked at me for a moment before slowly leaning forward and resting his head in my hand. It was such a simple gesture, yet it affected me more than I expected. I felt tears well up in my eyes because, in that quiet moment, I knew he was meant to come home with me. Even after I adopted him, Oliver remained very cautious. During the day, he preferred hiding in quiet corners where he could observe the house without feeling exposed. He wasn't unfriendly. He was simply learning whether his new home was truly a safe place. At night, I began noticing small signs of trust. Every so often, I'd wake up to find him curled up near my feet. But if I moved too quickly or spoke too excitedly, he would immediately run off to hide. It was clear that he wanted to be close, but he was still building his confidence. Instead of rushing him, I allowed him to adjust at his own pace. As the weeks passed, his confidence slowly grew. He started staying in the same room with me for longer periods and eventually walked past me without fear. Those tiny changes became meaningful milestones. One of the first tricks I taught him was the word kiss. Whenever I say it, he gently touches his nose to my face or hand. It's a quiet, gentle way for him to show affection. Oliver has never been the type of cat to constantly seek attention. Instead, he expresses his love through calm, subtle gestures. Over time, those little moments became part of our daily routine. My father lives in Florida while I live in North Carolina, so Oliver only sees him during holiday visits. At first, my dad wasn't enthusiastic about having a cat around. He worried about scratched furniture and household messes. But as time went on, I noticed his attitude changing. He began paying more attention to Oliver, checking on him, talking to him, and making sure he was comfortable. Before long, they had formed a genuine friendship. Now, whenever we visit, my dad completely spoils him. Watching Oliver bring out such a warm and gentle side of my father is something I never expected, and it's incredibly heartwarming. Oliver has changed over the years as well. Recently, he started climbing onto my chest whenever I'm resting, curling up there peacefully and staying close. When he was younger, he would never have been comfortable doing that. As he's grown older, he's become much more relaxed and affectionate. He follows me into different rooms, quietly keeping me company throughout the day. Whether I'm working at my desk or simply moving around the house, he likes knowing where I am. Greeting me at the door and rubbing against me has become his own special way of saying hello. Before I adopted him, Oliver had already experienced being given up by a previous owner while he was still a kitten. I sometimes wonder if that's why he dislikes being alone and prefers staying close whenever he can. After 4 wonderful years together, we've settled into a peaceful rhythm. I've learned to recognize the little sounds he makes when he wants attention, and somehow he always seems to know when I simply need quiet companionship. He isn't just a pet anymore. He has become an inseparable part of my everyday life. Whenever I think back to that first meeting at the shelter, I still remember the moment he rested his head in my hand. It wasn't dramatic or extraordinary, but it quietly changed both of our lives. Oliver found a place where he could finally feel safe, and I found a loyal companion whose love is gentle, steady, and unconditional. If you're thinking about adopting a pet, don't overlook the quiet ones. The shy animals often just need patience, kindness, and time to trust again. Once they do, the bond you build can become one of the most meaningful relationships you'll ever have. Sometimes all it takes is one small moment to change two lives forever.